little bit as to like how does faith go into your leadership journey?
Absolutely. So I look at the best model that we've ever had for leadership, and that's Jesus.
Absolutely.
Jesus was the consummate leader.
Yep.
He did all things right. He did things that people hadn't even thought could be done yet.
That's real. We call Jesus the realest dude that ever walked the earth.
Absolutely. So I look at his paradigm, and one of the things that I really ask others to do, that I am constantly assessing myself on also, is the level of service. I'm really big on servant leadership. Robert Greenleaf, for all the leadership buffs out there, they know Robert Greenleaf is kind of like the father of servant leadership.
Right.
But really the thought that others come first. And in order to make that happen, you have to be authentic to yourself.
Absolutely.
Because if you are, let's say you're coaching or you're consulting with someone who has more credentials or has more experience than you might have, you have to be comfortable in knowing who you are and that you still are positioned and readied to serve whomever it may be. Whether it be the Fortune 500 CEO, whether it be the person on the corner who just needs some hope. You know, so for me, you know, that Jesus model of leadership, which was unorthodox. It was out of the box. It made a lot of people uneasy.
For sure.
You know, people misconstrued what Jesus was about, misconstrued, because they really thought that if he's going to be this king of the Jews, he's here to rescue us from Roman oppression.
And rule here on earth.
And rule here on earth.
For sure.
Exactly. So, but Jesus came as a lamb.
Right.
He came as a suffering servant.
As a kingdom leader.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so we lead from a place of servitude, and we lead from a kind of a paradigm or perspective that others are first. And as I take care of the needs of others, I have someone who's going to take care of my needs, that being God. You know,
that's real.
Father. Yeah.
And it's funny because, and this is for those that have watched the Stack episode, these are parallels. Like, it goes hand in hand, what you're saying, right? Because it's counter culture, right?
Right.
You know, from what our world tells us, it's, you know, climb your way to the top, you know, step on anybody it takes to get there. You know, you don't have to have any more. As long as you end up with a big house and a pocket full of cash, you're deemed successful. But I mean, I know I don't measure success in that way. Number one, I measure success in a fashion that, where did you start? Where did you end? And what was the process it took to get there? Because just because you have $1 million in the bank don't mean you're successful. You could have inherited that $1 million and lived a life that was, you know, not benefiting anyone else. And it's just like, okay, but if you grew up in the hood, started with 20,000 and worked your way to $1 million off integrity and values, it hits a little different for me. So, I mean, yeah, no, to what you're saying, man, this is a real good conversation.
And here's what you don't have to worry about if you really are serving and leading from a servant's mentality and heart. There's a quote that says, "He who has the answers or the solution will always be paid."
That's true.
So some of the things that I've experienced in leadership, and I've had a lot of opportunities. I've had, you know, the cars, I've had the houses at an early age. From just a human perspective, they're like, that dude Abdullah, he's balling.
Right.
But I know what it means to have all of the accoutrements, but none of the peace. I know what it means to have the bank account with the comma and the zeros, and still be in debt to everybody because you know, you live in that lifestyle, you live in that facade, and still not being fulfilled on the inside. And you know this because you know we have a relationship, but God took myself and my wife down to almost nothing. When we came to Charlotte, we didn't have anything.
For those that don't know the story, if you don't mind, share that a little bit. Because I think that's a powerful testimony.